Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
$11:01 on The Lock Shop. Thank you very much for being here today. It is Dustin Nielson with you. Jake's going to join us shortly. Huss is somewhere in Costa Rica, and we may never hear from him again. But we will find out. I'll track him down maybe at some point, check in to see how his poker experience is going. Speaking of poker experiences, we've got one coming your way. Lock Shop Poker Series event number 5. That is going down tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Edmonton time. It is now available to pre-register. So if you are planning on joining us tomorrow night, it should be a fun night. I'll be streaming it over right here on our EST YouTube channel. But if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com today and you would like to join us, dip your toes in. Maybe you played before. Very simple. You go to Coolbet.com. You download the poker software. You install it. You go to the tournaments, or you sign in with your account. You go to tournaments, and then you search Lock Shop, and it's right there. You can pre-register now, or you can register when the tournament begins. You can actually register up to about an hour into the tournament as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that tomorrow. Looking forward to this. Today, Jake's with us. Today, Patty will be by tomorrow. We'll have some golf picks, and then we'll have Pat and Jake a little bit later on in the week as well. Cowboy over in the Nasty Chest. Maybe Huss can find some banana peppers down in Costa Rica. Oh, I'm sure they've got a bunch of them down there. Jake, are you a big banana pepper guy yourself? I tried them for the first time this morning, and I didn't love them. I'm not going to start throwing them on everything, but I would force myself to eat them now in a social situation, which I'm not sure I would have done before.
Yeah, I don't think I'm eating them just on their own, Dusty, but, nice little addition to a pizza topping. I'm actually more of a jalapeno guy myself. If I'm getting a sub, I like to throw a little jalapeno in there, or even on pizza, I don't mind it either. Just a little bit of a kick to spice things up. So, I've had banana peppers. I think I actually favor jalapenos over banana peppers, but both great options if you're looking to spice up. I don't know if alone. I saw you eat it alone today on the show. I don't know if that's how I'd be consuming banana peppers or jalapenos for that matter, but yeah, I don't mind it as a topping on a sub or a pizza. Yeah,
we ended up trying it on the sausage and the crackers as well, and
much better.
All in all, it was pretty good. Whose dog is this? Gager's big boy. Oh, Gager brought his dog in today. Look at this guy. Oh, I love it. He's a nice-looking dog, too. Anyway, sorry, Jake. I got caught off guard there. I was like, what's this big-ass dog doing in the office right now? All right. Hey, by the way, how surprised would you be with the way things have gone for Huss lately that he wins this event in Costa Rica? It's like, guys, you'll never believe what happened. I won the poker tournament. Like, what are the odds that something like that happens?
Yeah, how about that picture yesterday of him on Twitter just saying, "Oh, my flight." That smirk he's got going right now is unbelievable. Like, the next time you guys see him on a program, you're gonna know what smirk I'm talking about, because he's just riding high right now. I would not be shocked one bit if Huss is messaging us like, "All right, boys, I hit it pretty big on day one. Like, I'm in the mix here," and then all of a sudden he's at the final table and we're dialing into what's going on with Huss. Maybe we can get some updates from our other guy, Shags, there, who does the Dogger Pass podcast over on the Mayo Media Network. It'd be great if Huss is on a bit of a run, or if Shags is on a run for that matter, if we could get some content from what's going on with those guys. But yeah, I would not be surprised one bit, Dusty, if this guy pulls up a big win just to keep riding this wave that Huss is on.
All right, I have to. This just came across Twitter. We got to get into this. Front Office Sports has tweeted it out. Logan Paul has tweeted it out. March 27th on Max, HBO Max, Logan Paul is going to fight Jake Paul. What do you make of the Paul brothers deciding to punch each other in the face?
Dusty, I'm done. I'm done with the gimmick fights. I said it after the Tyson fight. Like, I got roped into watching that.
Me too.
And it was a bad watch. Like, frankly, leading up was okay, but the actual fight itself was a bad watch. I have no interest in seeing these two guys fight. I don't care. Like, I think the announcement was like, the one you've been waiting for. Like, I don't even know if it's going to happen for one.
Yeah,
You know, they like to tease this. They like to tease this stuff, and then, you know, it never actually pans out. And for seconds, like, I don't really care. Go ahead. Hopefully one of you knocks the other one out. Like, I can't stand to watch these fights anymore. I'm done with the gimmick fights. I wish boxing was still boxing. And, you know, I didn't really grow up in an era where, like, you know, we had Floyd and Pacquiao, but I never really got into it. You know, I feel like back in the day, boxing was incredible.
Oh,
like,
man.
Back in the Ali and Tyson.
Well, even the Lennox Lewis, Tyson, Holyfield,
right.
like, those were good. I was young. I was like early teens then. But that was great times. Like, just seeing people, like, it got a buzz. And my dad was a sports fan, but he wasn't like some boxing guy. But even those types of fights would create a buzz around the general sports fan, right? Like,
yeah, it looks like we're all kind of feeling the same way. Lars Y says, "Who cares?" Aiden O'Neill, most obvious cash grab of all time.
Well, and that's probably the problem is that, like,
all brothers, but
I
why?
think most of the reason here, Jake, that these guys would get views on their fights is because you would want to see somebody knock them out. Like, that's, you know, I watched the Tyson fight for the Tyson fight. I'm not getting, or I don't even know if I have HBO's streaming service Max. I'm not signing up for it to watch these two idiots punch themselves in the head. I think a lot of people, like, I mean, all you really want to do is watch both of these guys get knocked out. I don't want to see them do it to each other. Like, and somebody just said, Will Fraser on the morning show, I guess, when he's filling in for me, said their careers will be over when they fight each other. And I don't think this works. I don't think the Paul versus Paul, because there's no good guy to cheer for. I don't think this works. I think this is going to backfire on him big time.
Yeah, because then what? Then you're done, right? Like, this was always the way people looked at it, is this was always going to be the finale. Which, not that I really cared that these two were going to fight each other, but, like, you know, when they wanted their one last big cash in, they were going to fight one another. You know, I just don't know. Like, Jake, whatever, but, like, I don't even know why Logan would do this. Like, he's doing WWE now. He's doing a really good job in that forum. Like, I don't know why you would cut back to boxing. I guess you do know why. It's the paycheck, but
yeah.
At the same time, it's just like, what's the point? Why are we doing it? It's a little embarrassing. And if we're watching it, like, you know, maybe we're the problem, because if this is the entertainment we need right now, you know, we're in a tough spot. We're in a tough spot if that's the case.
Well, it's basically, this is almost encouraging to me in the fact that Jake Paul can't find any other washed up MMA guys to box. You know, like, nobody else is like, oh, I'll fight you. He's just like, okay, I'll just fight my brother now, and then we'll see where it goes from here. So maybe the rest of the world is starting to be like, okay, this is ridiculous. And now these two guys essentially have to fight each other to get a fight in. I don't know. I just saw it come across, and I was like, is this even for real? So I wanted to discuss it. If you want to chime in, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Anything we talk about in the Lock Shop today, you can definitely get in there. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Obviously, if you're watching over on YouTube, you know how to hit us up in the comments section. And, hey, hammer the thumbs up for us as well. Jake, I was very disappointed yesterday. My lock of the century did not come through, and I would have never thought this in a million years, but Connor McDavid and Tyler Myers return to their respective lineups. Tyler Myers gets 2 points. Connor McDavid only gets 1. Ruins the EST parlay. Ruins the lock of the century. Draisaitl had a wide open net that he clanged off the bar in like the first minute of the game. An assist would have gone to McDavid. Draisaitl was scored. And I knew, you know how you know? Like, I tweeted it right away. I said, if that Draisaitl post kills the parlay tonight, I'm going to be furious. And sometimes you just know. And when that happened, I knew we were in a little bit of trouble, man. But still, lock of the century comes up empty. Tough one for me.
Yeah, that's why you read the fine print, folks. The lock of the century isn't always a guaranteed winner. So I was on it myself, the McDavid 2+ points. You know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's funny, when I woke up this morning, you had texted the Lock Shop group and said something along the lines of, like, you know, Draisaitl empty netter from McDavid. for a good night, and I had thought it happened. Like I had assumed, because I had gone to bed and I had assumed that's what had happened, and I was like, oh, great. And then I went and checked today, and it was like Ekholm unassisted, and I was like, no! So, yeah, not a big deal. It's kind of, that's the way of the world we're in right now. Nothing's guaranteed. Even Connor McDavid returned. But, I mean, a win for the Oilers nonetheless. Yep. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's the one thing that matters when you're an Edmonton fan or when you're, any other fan of any other NHL team. So, the other thing last night, we struggled with our parlay. I didn't end up getting it up in the combos. That was my bad, guys, but it probably didn't end up mattering when it was all said and done.
The NHL parlay? Yeah. Ugh.
The Kings got waxed pretty good. It was a 2-1 final. The Penguins, the Oilers actually the only team that cashed in on
regulation.
What we were looking for. So you know what? We're just going to bounce back tonight. And I mean, Dusty's super boost last night. You want to talk about some TGL?
Oh man, we got to talk about TGL. Like I've got it on the list here. We'll set up tonight's slate. We'll build a parlay for tonight. If you're over in the nasty chat and you have any plays you want us to work into a parlay today, maybe you've got to lock yourself. Hit us up over in the nasty chat. Hammer the thumbs up for us there as well. I want to take a look ahead. Super Bowl, not a bunch of crazy props yet, but all the regular bets for Super Bowl today. We'll take a look at the touchdown scores with that game a little bit away. I've also got I saw this on For the Win today, I think. The top 10, and maybe we'll bring up Super Bowl finishes, but the top 10 tightest spreads for the Super Bowl. The one that we're looking at right now is in that top 10. So I got the top 10, so we can look back on that a little bit as well. We got that Dusty's Undies that we'll get to when we take a look at the NHL slate. We hit the Oilers McDavid, the letdown last night there. The Lakers took care of business. Now, they were up 20 at the end of the first quarter. I was like, not going to be a problem. They ended up, I don't know how odds makers do it. Like the Lakers were up 20 in the first quarter. I was like, oh man, they're covering the 5 for sure. And we only had a money line. And then they ended up pushing on the 5. Like the Hornets came back, lost by 5. Blows me away how good these guys are at what they do. But the Lakers took care of business in the Super Boost. TGL. I mean, if we get more of that, I mean, I'm already in. I haven't watched from start to finish all 4, but I've checked in at some point on all 4 events, and the other ones, a little bit of blowouts. The one I got too late, the one I had PVR'd, and it was kind of a blowout. And then last night, what were we doing last night? Oh, the kids had basketball last night. We got home, and I had kind of been following along. I watched a bit early at basketball, and then I saw the text we got from Pat being like, oh my God, Tiger just got a shot clock violation in the TGL. So as soon as we got home, I threw it on and they were just going on to 15. And then so I got 15th, I got the tiebreaker. And then I went back and watched a little bit later on because I'm PVRing them. But I mean, I'm all in. I'm all in on TGL. But last night, I think we'll draw more people in because that was pretty entertaining last night. Finally got a close match. It ends up going to overtime with like a closest to the pin contest from 37 yards out, in which, in a weird fact, nobody actually got close to the pin on any of the shots that were taken. I've really enjoyed it last night, man. Like, I think they're on to something there. I don't know if anybody's buying in, but I think they're on to something.
Yeah, I think this is what it was built for, right? The drama coming down to the end, coming down to the closest to the pin shootout. Like, this is why the TGL was created. Like, we've seen some blowouts early on. I think they're still trying to get a feel for it. But the more we see these guys actually play and get a feel for the greens and the simulator, like this it makes for really good TV. I had men's league last night, so of course, like I didn't get to sit down and do the full TGL watch. But Patty does some great updates in the chat, and he was saying, Tom Kim was pretty dialed in for Tiger's team. Tiger had the shot clock violation. He was pretty angry. I still got to figure out this hammer situation, how that all works. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, I can dial it into some more TGL and we get some more matches like we did last night.
The TGL and Tom Kim, we had a text here at 780-218-9999 from Brock. It says Tom Kim is a TGL superstar. This guy was made for arena golf. Like there's some guys it just works for. And Tom Kim, because of his personality, is just amazing. I mean, I absolutely loved watching him last night. When he got stuck in last night, he's in the sand on 15. And I'm obviously cheering for Boston Common. Marshall wants to see Tiger win. So we're going, like Marshall and I are kind of going back and forth. And And then Keegan Bradley started to blow it a bit, but Tom Kim was in the he's in the sand. I was just like, oh, I think we're okay. And then he doesn't get out of the sand, or he just got out and it rolled back in. I thought, okay, like we've got it. And then Tom Kim almost holds it coming out of the sand, and then he's rolling around on the ground. It was, I mean, give me more of those. Like that was, I have to assume that that's probably the best ratings they had yet. I haven't seen like the overnights for it or anything, but people would have had to have been locked in on that one last night.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch any of the last couple President's Cups, like Tom Kim is like built for high energy golf. Like I know we don't get a lot of high energy golf during the season. You know, you think about Waste Management 16. That's kind of one of those unique holes that brings that high energy. We've seen over the past, you know, a couple hole-in-ones that have had the crowd going absolutely electric. But Tom Kim is built for this. He's great for this style, this, you know, somewhere you can show your personality a little bit more. I think Justin Thomas is another great guy. He was really fun to watch last week, although, you know, they kind of blew out the team they were facing. So it's just a matter of getting those right personalities in there. You know, Kiz, as you know, maybe not the best talent there is, but Kiz is a pretty good personality as well for something like that. And then we get a little bit more personality from the Tigers, the Rorys of the world, and, you know, hopefully it continues to grow. I mean, we got Mark in the chat. He says the TGL make it to year 3. Do you think this is sustainable, Dusty? That they're going to keep rolling and, you know, getting enough money?
It's a good question. Big Maple says right after that, he says tickets are sold out for the rest of the season for TGL. I don't think it's a big box office thing anyway. I mean, I think this is probably driven by sponsors who just want to be a part of Tiger and Rory's brand moving forward. And because of that, I think it'll last as long as those guys really want it to. Like, I don't think TGL dies because nobody's watching. Like, I think as long as Tiger and Rory want to be a part of this, I think it will probably have an extended life. I mean, let's see how the end of season 1 goes. Like, if we get to a TGL final and it is Rory versus Tiger and we get some sort of finish like we had last night, I think that will help bring more people in. But I don't think this comes down to, not all the tickets are sold, or, the TV ratings aren't terrific. I think golf companies will just want to be a part of what Tiger and Rory are doing. And unless Tiger and Rory are somehow taking a bath on all of this, I don't see why they wouldn't just continue it. Let's look at what it is. It's a way for Tiger and anybody who wants to be associated with his brand to see Tiger in a competitive place on a regular basis. He doesn't have to walk it. Like if Tiger Woods didn't exist, TGL wouldn't exist. Like if Tiger didn't want this wouldn't be happening. So Tiger wanted bad enough to fire it up. He's not going to be able to go out and compete in a bunch of majors competitively anymore. This is a way to put the biggest draw in the history of the sport on your screen for 2.5 months, once or twice a week. I think as long as Tiger wants to do it, it'll keep going. I mean, I honestly think it will. I don't think this is related to revenue or TV ratings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, the other thing I wonder about TGL is, you know, it's all shot out of the same facility, right? But I wonder at some point, you know, if the technology comes along far enough that they move this thing around. You know, we might have to do it based on the PGA schedule, but, you know, getting out there to different places, getting some tickets sold in, you know, in the areas in which these teams technically play out of, right? We have like LA Golf Club, Boston, Jupiter, like there's a few different leagues, like a few different teams from different areas. You know, you wonder if that's a possibility down the road where it's not just going to be out of the same facility. They're able to move it around a little bit and get different people in the building, different celebrities making appearances. Yeah. You know, it'll be interesting to see. Like it's early on, it's early days of TGL right now. There's so much potential to what it could be. It'll be interesting to see how it does going forward.
Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned the celebrities. With the right celebrities, you'll suck in some other people. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Travis Kelce's playing. Oh, he's not great at golf, but it'll be hilarious. And everybody, the Swifties will watch. You know what I mean? Like there's ways to get different eyes on it, I think. And I mean, come back around to it. You don't need to sit down on your couch and watch 4 or 5 or 6 hours of golf. I mean, you sit down, you see the biggest names in the game. play golf for a couple of hours. Big Maple makes a good point too. Just wait until John Daly gets his invite. And can you imagine him there with the darts and the beers? And I don't know if he'll ever get there, but maybe there's like a TGL After Dark, and Daly's there for the TGL After Dark. That could be something that you could look at. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. NHL, we're going to look at the NHL slate tonight. Oh, by the way, before we move on from TGL, you did say you're not even very familiar with the hammer. Here's the hammer, because I thought I understood it myself. I just wanted to confirm it, and my thought process was right. Each hole starts with a value of 1 point. However, if the team with the hammer elects to play, and it elects to play the hammer and is accepted by the opposition, then the value of the hole is increased to 2 points. And then that other team would have the hammer. If another hammer is played by that other team and accepted during the same hole, then it is increased to 3 points. The opposing team does have the ability to reject a hammer, blocking the ability to increase the points value. But if the team denies a hammer request, they are forced to concede the hole, giving up the single point. So if they don't want to risk the 2 points, they're conceding the hole and giving up the 1 point if the hammer is thrown.
And you can play the hammer at any time. Like, I've seen it thrown in the green. I've seen it thrown in the tee box. Like, I suppose you can play it whenever.
Yeah, because you're right. I've seen it thrown in both positions. Like, I saw it throw on like a hole-winning putt, and then they had to make the decision on it, right? So
that's why I'm struggling. That's why I was struggling to understand, because I've seen it thrown right off the tee deck, like we're throwing the hammer here, or I've seen them throw it on the green, and it's like, okay, because then you could be at advantage if you're sitting on the green and a team's got to get up and down to try to make par, and you got a birdie putt in hand. So yeah, I guess that's where the concede could come in. Yeah, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it is kind of neat. All right, we're gonna get to the NHL slate tonight. Let's dive into just the Super Bowl quickly, obviously. And if you want to join us for our Super Bowl party, we'll be at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. That'll be happening on Fort Road on Super Bowl Sunday, and it's going to be a packed house. So email them, edm.centurysports@cnty.com, I think, if you want to reserve a table. No cost, but if you want to reserve a table, that is who you would email to join us for the big game. Money line right now, sitting at Kansas City Chiefs minus 125, the Eagles at plus 106. I have the top 10 tightest spreads for a Super Bowl that we'll dive into here, but I did want to take a look at touchdown scores today, and we can take a look at a bunch of these different markets as we work our way towards the game. But right now, here's your touchdown score. Saquon Barkley plus 250, Jalen Hurts 5-1, Travis Kelce 9-1, Xavier Worthy 10-1, Kareem Hunt 11-1, AJ Brown is 13-1, Pacheco is 18-1, Devontae Smith is 20. Oh, sorry, that's 2 or more touchdowns. My bad. Hang on. Here's the anytime touchdown score. Yeah, I was like, as I was going through it, I was like, wait a second, why is Kareem Hunt 11-1? So yeah, okay, here we go. Here's the anytime touchdown score. Saquon minus 227, Jalen Hurts minus 120, Kelce plus 120, Kareem Hunt plus 125. Xavier Worthy plus 150, AJ Brown plus 150, Smith's 220, Pacheco's 240, Marquise Brown, interesting, 240, Dallas Goedert's plus 275, Patrick Mahomes, who just ran in 2 touchdowns, is at 3-1, and then you get down into Noah Gray plus 450, Hopkins plus 450, Juju plus 450, Samaje Perine, who had that big play at the end of the game to seal it away, plus 850, Kenneth Gainwell's 10-1. I mean, outside of that, it gets pretty slim pickings. Everybody's going to be on Saquon Barkley. I don't know how you couldn't be. What is your second favorite touchdown score from a value perspective here, Jake?
Well, value. I mean, I go right down to that Goddard number plus 275. Like, that guy's been an absolute monster. Not necessarily a touchdown a game type of guy, but a guy that Hurts has been looking to, frequently at a big game against Washington. Like, is a really nice piece and a little underrated, I'd say, in the tight end category when you look across the league at, like, who people talk about. You talk about the Kelce's, you talk about the Kittles, you talk about the Laportas in your Lions, you talk about, what a year the rookie Brock Bowers had. But when it comes to, like, a guy who can do it all in the tight end position, Dallas Goedert is one of those guys. So plus 275, I don't mind that one bit. Kareem Hunt, I don't mind plus 125. I feel like he is their goal line run guy. You know, he got in last game against the Bills. As much as Pacheco, you know, had been their guy a lot of last year, I feel like just with Hunt being a little bit more healthy, Pacheco coming off an injury, they never really got back to feeding Pacheco the ball. I don't know if you feel the same way, but Hunt's another guy I don't mind at plus 125. Those would kind of be my two, and you get one from each team there. Obviously, like you said, Barkley, going to have to get a piece of Barkley one way or the other, whether it's, you know, when a parlay for a anytime touchdown or we're getting on that two plus touchdown number at plus 250. But one way or the other, I'm getting a piece of Barkley.
Spency 5 cents, he says Hunt has TDs in 2 straight, has good value there. Yeah, I think Kareem Hunt. I also don't mind Xavier Worthy, actually, with the way that Patrick Mahomes has used him a little bit here. I think you could see, you know, rookie stepping up and having a pretty decent role in the Kansas City Chiefs offense. So that's something we could look at as well. Obviously, next week during Super Bowl week, we will lock in a lot of these other bets. But I think for the rest of this week, we will check in on a few of these as we work our way through the week. Okay, so the spread in this game is -1.5. I saw this article pop up. I've got the list of Super Bowl results, and then I've got the top 10 tightest spreads in the history of the Super Bowl. This year's game does fall in there. So let's just take a look at who the favorite was, how tight it was, and then what the result was on these close games. And spoiler alert, the Kansas City Chiefs are all over this. I think 4 of their Super Bowls are in the top 10 tightest spreads. Like they it's always like 1-2 points. It's not like 6-7 points. And it's like the Chiefs have been in this similar spot, I guess, in really tight, what we expect to be tight Super Bowls. 2014, Denver Broncos were 2.5-point favorites against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, as a 2.5-point dog, ended up winning that game 43-8. So they were slight dogs, and they absolutely rolled in that one. Go back to 1971, Baltimore Colts, Dallas Cowboys. The Colts were 2.5-point favorites in that game. Ended up, oh man, I wish we would have been around back in 1971 trying to cover, because it was 2.5 and the Baltimore Colts ended up winning by 3, 16-13. Can you imagine the 1971 Baltimore Colts sweat? God.
I wonder how you even would have got that bet in 71.
I mean, you would have probably had to have gone to a bookie, and then, I mean, I don't know how else you would have been doing it back then. But anyway, the Colts covered the 2.5. Then we fast forward, and it's a lot of recent games that we've seen with these tight totals, including last year. The Niners were 2-point favorites against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs winning it 25-22 in overtime. 2019, Tom Brady, New England Patriots against the Rams. The Pats were 2-point favorites, ended up winning what had to have been the lowest scoring Super Bowl of all time, 13-3 in that one. Definitely covered the 2.
Boring. I remember it. Obviously, I'm a Pats fan. I'm not mad that they won that Super Bowl.
But what a bad Super Bowl that was,
One of the worst ones to watch in recent memory. I mean, you think back, not long before that was the Falcons Super Bowl, which was like one of my favorite Super Bowls, Falcons Patriots. But yeah, the
overtime thriller, that was the year before, or 2 years before. Yeah, that was pretty impressive, actually. This year, the Chiefs and the Eagles, Chiefs -1.5. That is the 6th tightest spread in the history of the Super Bowl. 2020, the Chiefs and the Niners. The Chiefs were 1.5-point favorites in that game, just as they are in this game against the Eagles. And Kansas City ended up winning that Super Bowl 31-20, so they covered in that spot. The Eagles were 1-point favorites in 2023. Kansas City ends up covering as the dog and winning, of course, outright 38-35. That Seahawks-Patriots game in 2015, the Seahawks were actually a 1-point favorite against the Patriots in that game. New England ends up winning it 28-24. And then back to 1982, the Niners were 1-point favorites against the Cincinnati Bengals. Niners ended up winning that game by 5, 26-21. And then 1973, also just a single point, the Dolphins -1 against Washington at the time. And in 1973, it was Miami covering and winning 14-10. 8-7. So we've seen a lot of tight spreads. I just find it rather remarkable that the Kansas City Chiefs are on this list like 4 times. Like the Chiefs have been in this exact spot over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely have. I guess the Chiefs-Bucks wasn't on that list, right? When the Bucks beat them, I think the Chiefs were pretty.
Chiefs-Bucks was not on that list. What was the odd? What were the odds of that Super Bowl?
I want to say the Chiefs were a pretty big, not big, but like bigger than what we're talking here. Let's see, Chiefs-Bucks.
Kansas City -3 is what I'm seeing.
Okay.
So and
maybe I thought it was a bit
yeah,
more,
but I mean that doesn't make the list, but it wouldn't have been far off. This list started at 2.5. So,
they've been right in there kind of the whole way here during this run. But I don't know. Like I said yesterday, Dusty, I'm not rooting for the Chiefs to win. I want everyone to know that. Like I'm not gonna jump on the Huss bandwagon. I am betting the Chiefs to win though, because guess what? I'm not going to be sitting here. On February 10th, Monday's episode, maybe we're doing a 4-man weave, and I'm the fool who jumped on the Eagles, and Huss is celebrating a three-peat, first time ever in the history of the NFL, three-peat for the Super Bowl. So I bet the Chiefs already. That's not going to change. I'll be rooting hard for the Eagles, and it's a double win in my brain. Either I win money, or the Patriots Tom Brady legacy is still in good position with many more years of Mahomes still to come.
Well, yeah, the Huss being on the Chiefs when they're playing the Eagles is the biggest lock of all time. I mean, all he does is try to fade the Eagles, and of course, I think his only 2 correct picks these whole playoffs were Kansas City Chiefs spreads. So he will be on the Chiefs in this game against the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll have more on that as we work our way through the week. And obviously next week will be a huge Super Bowl week here on The Lock Shop. If you're watching over on YouTube right now, feel free to chime in the comments section. Hammer the thumbs up for us as well. And you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. All right, NHL Slate tonight. Let me give you the starting goalies. We do have a busy night tonight in the NHL. What do we got? 3, 6, 8 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Lots of starting goalies already confirmed. Arvid Soderblom will start for the Chicago Blackhawks. Vasilevsky listed as likely at Tampa Bay. That one is in Tampa. The Rangers are hosting the Hurricanes. It will be Shesterkin versus Freddie Anderson. Montembeault will get the start for the Habs. Winnipeg Jets are going with Connor Hellebuck. It'll be Swayman versus Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in the Boston Buffalo game. Mackenzie Blackwood and Sorokin for the Avs and the Islanders. Dustin Wolf and freshly signed to a 6-year deal, Logan Thompson. Man, we got all the big boys between the pipes tonight. I mean, with the exception, I guess, of Soderblom. I mean, everybody's starting their top guys here. What do we got? Anaheim, Seattle, Grubauer and Lucas Dostal, and then Aiden Hill, Jake Ottinger, unconfirmed at this point in a big game between Dallas and Vegas a little bit later on tonight. That's the starting goaltenders for the 8 games this evening. We'll get to Dusty's undies in just a sec, but Jake, let's dive into this board tonight. Is there anything that you absolutely love that we have to have in a parlay today?
I don't mind the Abs at -133 with Blackwood between the pipes. And a pretty solid starter since they brought him in. That's kind of what they were missing. And, it's helped them along their way to try to battle back into the Central. They haven't been crazy good over the last 10, 4-5-1. They won their last one, but, you look at their home and away splits, pretty even. 14-10-2 at home, 15-10 on the road. So not really a big discrepancy there for the Abs. Islanders, been hot.
They have been hot.
7-3 in their last 10, but still far, long way out here. So I imagine the spread has a lot to do with how good the Islanders have been. Still no Dobson there for the Islanders. They did bring in Tony DeAngelo. I don't know if you saw that, but we'll see what goes on there with the Isles. But I don't mind the Avalanche tonight on the road on Long Island. To kind of get things going again and maybe knock the Islanders down a notch after this little win streak they're on right now.
Let's see here. Okay, so let's just slot Avs in there for now. Carolina is minus 139 on the road against the Rangers. Let's dive into that game for you a little bit here as well. Carolina, obviously, with Rantanen, a bunch of shot attempts in his first game. Carolina has won 4 of 5 against the Rangers, including both meetings this year. One in November 4-3, one in December 3-1. They have won 6 of their last 10. They have points in 8 of their last 10, and they have won 4 of their last 5. Coincidentally, a team we were just talking about, the New York Islanders, beat Carolina 2 nights ago, almost 3 nights ago, I guess, January 25th. So Carolina's had a couple of days off here going into New York, where the Rangers have won also 6 of 10. They've won 4 of their last 6. They have points in 9 of their last 10, and coincidentally, their last loss was in their last game 2 nights ago to the Colorado Avalanche. So that's an interesting one. A lot of people were talking about that one a little bit earlier on the show today as well. We did not throw it into the Dusty's Undies parlay, but we'll get to that in just 1 second. I don't know if I want to get on that game. Let's see what else we got here. Boston,
Tough
Buffalo.
board, Dusty.
Well, yeah.
Big boys playing too. I mean, it's
What
nothing's free right now.
this is an interesting slate tonight. Let's take a look at this Winnipeg Montreal game. Winnipeg, I know Montreal's been playing well lately. Winnipeg's minus 169 on the road here. They played once this year. Winnipeg won that one 4-2. Jets have won 6 of their last 8. 4 of those wins were by 2 or more. 2 of them, they played Calgary and Utah a bunch lately. Habs have dropped 3 of 5, including 2 in a row to New Jersey and Detroit. Plus 143 at home with Montreal. What are the home splits on the Habs here? 13-8-4 at home. Winnipeg's 14-9-0 on the road. Man, I don't know if I love anything there either. You're right. This is a tough slate. Part of me just wants to go Tampa Bay minus 1.5, but I know the Chicago Blackhawks are going to screw us for that one. I can't do it
every time.
I can't do it.
Luckily, it isn't a Blackhawks home game. I know it always feels like those home games. I mean, do you have a feel for? I know you already got the Dusty's Undies on Bruins Sabres. It's probably the tightest spread.
It is the tightest spread.
Tightest money line. Tightest money line on the board right now. Let's see how those two teams have fared as of recently. Boston's got points in 7 of their last 10. They're only 9-13-3 on the road. Buffalo, worst team in the East right now.
They've lost 4 of 5. Buffalo's coming home off a 4-game trip out west here. Maybe Boston's the play here.
Back off a West Coast road trip. I don't mind Boston.
Maybe Boston's the play here.
Where, listen, frankly, who needs wins more right now? Boston, who's sitting in wild card 1 with a ton of teams that they're nipping at their heels, or Buffalo, who's completely out of the Eastern Conference race, maybe the only team out of the Eastern Conference race, depending on how you look at it. It's must-win territory for Boston. In a game like this, I don't mind taking them on the money line to get us going.
Yeah, I like that. Let's go Boston money line. I mean, right now we've got Colorado and Boston minus 130, minus 110. That is plus 234. I got that Washington-Calgary game adjusted up to the 7.5 and took the under on that one. Kraken played last night here in Edmonton, returned home to take on the Ducks tonight. Anaheim's a plus 110 dog. Second half of a back-to-back for Seattle. I didn't think Seattle played poorly last night, actually. Is Anaheim completely mailed? What's the deal with the Ducks lately? Let's see. Actually, head-to-head, Seattle has won 8 of their last 9 against Anaheim. So they've owned the Ducks lately. Seattle's last 3 losses were to a good Winnipeg team 2-1, a good Washington team 3-0, and a good Edmonton team 4-2. They beat Pittsburgh. They beat Buffalo. They beat LA. They beat Pittsburgh again. They beat Buffalo again. They
beat the bad teams.
Yeah, like they beat the bad teams and have lost to some really good ones lately. At home, 12-3, 12-11-3. They're not much of a difference maker at home. I don't know. I wonder about Seattle in the second half here of a back-to-back.
Wonder if the chat. Let us know in the chat what you got in terms of play in the NHL tonight. Probably a money line makes the most sense from where we're going here, but yeah, we're a little stumped on where we want to go.
Smitty the Welder says the Kraken haven't won the second game of a back-to-back yet this year. Wow. So can they just not do it, or are they due? Right? You could look at it from that perspective. Is it, what are they going to go the entire season without winning the second game of a back-to-back? I mean, maybe they will, but I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't have a good feel in Carolina.
We didn't.
Jets numbers pretty big against Montreal.
I mean, we could do Jets on a parlay. I mean, it's plus 432, but like, do we want to eat the minus 169 when Montreal's been playing relatively well lately? You know, like,
right? That's what I mean. It's a pretty big number for against a team at home who's, been really grinding out like this back part of the season. So I just have a hard time. I don't know. I just have a hard time like getting on the Jets at that big of a number with how good Montreal has played.
The one other game we haven't looked at just yet, we've kind of dove into pretty much all 8 of these. Dallas and Vegas tonight. Vegas, neither team's been playing that great as of late. These two teams did play on January 24th, so 4 nights ago, and Dallas ended up winning that game 4-3. Vegas only has 3 wins in their last 10. 5 of their last 7 were on the road. They returned home and beat Florida 4-1. That's a pretty tidy win, and I watched a bit of post-game from that, and they were talking about how they needed to get their game back on track, and they felt pretty good about it there. Dallas on the road this year is 13-10. Vegas is 19-6-1 at home, 12-9-3 on the road. I don't know. I don't hate Vegas maybe here tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vegas is a bit of a home merchant. Like they're pretty mid on the road. But when they get back home, they tend to take care of business. They haven't been great over their last 10, 3-6-1. Where have they been? They were at home. They just beat the Panthers at home 4-1. That's a pretty good club. They split their road against the Blues. They beat the Blues, lost to the Stars in their recent game. So maybe it's a bounce back. Stars got them in Dallas a few nights ago. A little bit of revenge for Vegas. They've been home for a couple days here. Take on the Stars tonight. They get their revenge tonight. I don't mind that. Colorado, Boston, Vegas gets us to plus 509.
All right, plus 509. Yeah, I don't mind that. I did throw the number in here because Spency 5 cents, he just said Lightning to win. And then K. Elk said Lightning and Reg to get a little bit more. Play it a little bit safer. But can you imagine if we so the Lightning in regulation at minus 233, Soderblom in the Chicago net, Vasilevsky expected to go for Tampa here. Tampa needs these wins. I mean, they're in a tight spot right now. Tampa is minus 233 in regulation, which would bring a Colorado, Boston, Tampa in reg line to plus 383. We could do that. Or we could just go with Vegas, like we said, minus 122, take it up to 5-1.
The only other option I'd lay out there.
Yeah.
Maybe we take, with how good the Islanders have been playing, maybe we take Colorado out.
Okay.
And we go, if they want to, it seems like everyone's kind of in on Tampa. I mean, I guess you would be when they're minus 400 favorites. Tampa and Reg, Vegas to win, Boston to win. That's plus 396. So we're probably close to like 450 after a boost. And then it keeps, the Islanders' hot streak out of the mix. That's my only concern. Like, that
the Islanders haven't been allowing a lot of goals recently. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like I do work. Like, if I don't want to bait a team in the middle of a hot streak, and they've won 4 straight. We talked. Like, I feel like we talked 2 days ago about them being out of the race and being, one of those teams that's going to be selling. But now, they find themselves. They beat some not so good teams. Beat the Sharks, the Jackets, and the Flyers. But then they also beat the Hurricanes, like you mentioned, and they've been at home. Like, this is their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th straight game at home.
Oh wow, what a run!
Living pretty comfortably right now. So maybe we just keep that one off.
Yeah.
Leave Colorado out of it, and we'll just do the plus 396 boosted with Lightning and Reg, Vegas money line, Boston money line. I don't mind that at all.
All right, so that's what we'll do. Plus 396 pre-boost, Boston money line, Tampa in regulation. Well, it'll be a quick text to Huss tonight if we're like, you'll never guess which team screwed us tonight. He would blindly guess the Blackhawks. I know it. So we'll see. But you know what? We'll go with it tonight. Tampa in regulation, and then Vegas at home minus 122. That'll be your partner parlay in the National Hockey League tonight. The other hockey option that we've got, and we've got a few. We got some early Pebble stuff up on the combo cards right now. The Lamplighters. Let me pass that one along to you right now. We've got Kyle Connor to score, Braden Point to score, and Alexander Ovechkin to score at plus 1455. That's not a bad one. That's a big number. I mean, those three are extremely talented. I was going to say, it just made me think as I was watching this. When Four Nations happens, how big a reset are we going to get on the NHL futures, Jake? Like, are you guys thinking you'll probably roll out all the awards and that type of thing again, or how much are we going to get?
Yeah, I imagine, February 12th to 20th, like you get a good full week there. I feel like more than likely we're getting a full reset. So we should get, and if we don't have it in the plans, I'll make sure we get it in the plans. But, we should get Art Ross, probably get the Rocket back in there. I'm sure we can get an Ovechkin special or two back in there, see if he can get it done this season. Anything that, we think the people might want, I think we can get it in there. We probably won't get the full, it won't be the preseason, like, point totals and stuff like that, goal totals. But I think in terms of trophies, we can probably expect most of those to return. Maybe a few specials that we have lined up here before kind of the unofficial second half of the season kicks off post Four Nations.
All right. I see Kay Gill over in the Nasty Chat talking about Andy Strickland saying that if Carolina can't get Mikko Rantanen done, there may be some level of interest with him in Edmonton here next year. I don't know. I mean, we'll get into that on Two Guys and a Goalie, okay? We're not going to derail the last 7 minutes of the lock shop. We could spend 60 minutes talking about that on Two Guys and a Goalie today. So we'll definitely get into that coming up here at noon. All right, so today, for the first time, we put together Dusty's Undies, and we did this morning. Great handle here. It's Boston under 7, Boston Buffalo under 7.5 goals, Calgary Washington under 7.5 goals, and Vegas Dallas under 7.5 goals. Now, I've been kind of monitoring this for like the last week or so. I was just kind of messing around one night looking at different totals and adjusting totals. And like, there's not many games in the NHL that are hitting 8 goals nowadays. Like, there just isn't. So I've kind of been following along for the last little while. I hit this last night. One thing that I'm kind of looking at is last night, I think I got 3 games that were 5.5. Adjusted it to 7.5, took the under on all 3. It was minus 130. Now, not a crazy number, but minus 130 is not the end of the world. I mean, you could do okay with a steady diet of minus 130s, minus 120. So last night, I decided that I'll never put San Jose into this because San Jose is just too deadly so San Jose will never be in it. I'd be a little bit hesitant just because of McDavid and Draisaitl. The others scare me. In fact, they cost me on the very first one I did this last Thursday. But last night I was on Vancouver, St. Louis under 8, Detroit, LA under 8, and then I was on New Jersey and Philly under 8. And those games finished with 6 goals. And then what I would describe as high scoring games in the NHL nowadays, 5-2, 5-2. So all of them hit under the 8. The night before, there was 4 games in the National Hockey League. Vegas, Florida, 5 goals. Minnesota, Chicago, 6 goals. Calgary, Winnipeg, 7 goals. Ottawa, Utah, 4 goals, and then Colorado and New York, 5-4. So they hit the 9. On Saturday, here's Saturday's games. I'm just looking for those under 7.5s because those are the 3 we want to parlay. In fact, I'll tell you what I did for tonight's games. It's kind of crazy, but I've never done it before, but I'll tell you what I did tonight. Anyway, on Saturday, huge slate of games Saturday. Buffalo, Edmonton, 5. New Jersey, Montreal, 7. Washington, Vancouver, 3. Boston, Colorado, 4. Seattle, Pittsburgh, 4. Toronto, Ottawa, 3. Dallas, St. Louis, 2. Detroit, Tampa, 2. Columbus and LA, 5. Calgary, Minnesota had 9. Islanders and Hurricanes had 5. Florida and San Jose had 9. As I told you, Florida's never going to be a part of it, or San Jose's never going to be a part of this. And then the Ducks and the Preds had 9. So, like, there was they had 7. The Ducks and Preds didn't even hit it. So, there was 2 games that finished over 8 goals. Minnesota scored 2 goals in the final 2 minutes to hit that 9 total in the Calgary game, because that was trending in the right direction as well. So, the night before that, there were 4 games. All of them finished under 8 goals. So it's just a matter of picking the right 3 games every night to stay under that total. And if you avoid San Jose, who gives up a ton of goals, and I think the best thing to do here would be to kind of avoid the top couple teams in the league and then avoid San Jose. And especially when you get those games of teams racing for playoff spots, Jake.
Right.
I mean, those things seem like automatic. So what I did tonight. And we've got Dusty's Undies, which is up, and you guys boosted it, and it's a plus 123. So nice number with the boost. Let me just bring up the bet I've laid out here. Here it is. I don't even, what was this called? What's it called? The Lucky 6-3 or something? Have you seen this? Like, I bet like 7 games tonight, but every single combination of 3-game parlay, 4-game parlay, 5-game parlay. So I bet. What did I bet tonight?
Similar to like a round robin.
Yeah, it's like an extended round robin. It's like every possible round robin you can do. So on this tonight, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it 6 games? Yeah, I've got 6 games tonight, and then I've got 6 single plays, 15 doubles, 20 trebles, 15 fourfold, 6 5-folds, and 1 6-fold. And it's just,
what could go wrong?
I'm like, let's just see what happens. Like, if I get 5 of the 6, how many of all these do I hit? You know what I mean? I'm just curious to see how it sort of works out tonight. So we'll see. But I was just getting totally invested in this under 7.5 thing, and I decided to take it for a run tonight at this level. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I might have to join you tonight and just see what that's all about. You're all right. Like, these games,
they're very rarely an 8-goal game.
7 or less.
Yeah.
Now, you might be sweating out a couple 7s where you're sitting there just like, no more goals, please, no more goals. But like you said, yeah, very rarely are we seeing 8+ goals scored in these games, especially in these tight games. Like, I know you have the few you have tonight. So it's, for those who don't know, it's Sabres, Bruins, Flames, Caps, Knights, Stars, all under 7.5 tonight, from plus 105 to plus 123 in the combos. You know, I'm just thinking about some teams needing points. Like, Canadians could take any point they get. I don't mind that one under 7.5. Hurricanes, Rangers, both teams, like, don't hate that one. Blackhawks, Lightning, I'd probably stay away from.
I did stay away from that one.
I could see the Lightning putting up 6 on their own.
Yeah.
Like you said, Islanders haven't been giving up a whole lot. I don't hate that one. Caps, Flames, don't mind, especially with Thompson starting. Ducks, Kraken, I'm not sure. And Stars, Knights, I don't mind. So yeah, I mean, if you want to extend it tonight, I think every one of these
you
games
just nailed it. Like, you nailed my 6 games. Yeah,
Ducks, Kraken, yeah.
Yeah, I did throw Ducks, Kraken on there, so maybe that's the one that screws me. But I mean, even if I hit 5 of 6 in this thing, all the different combos. So we'll see how it works out. But like, I'm just looking back. Like, last Thursday, it was a big slate. There were 3 games that night that actually did hit 8, but there were like 7 that didn't. Last Wednesday, there was 4 games. None of them even got to 7 goals. The Tuesday, a week ago today, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. 7 of them finished under 8 goals. So I don't know.
You're Sharks. You stay away from us.
Just stay away from the Sharks. Don't mix the Sharks into this mix. And yeah, it was the Sharks and Preds last Tuesday, 7-5. So don't mix the Sharks in. But I don't know. We're gonna see how it. I'm going to see how it goes. Big Maple says, I went 12-13 with alternate totals in the NFL a while ago. I was pumping the totals up to the max and then betting the unders. It was heartbreaking going the 12-13. That's right. And then Wheels over in the chat says, Dusty, the big question is, what are the steps for tomorrow's poker tournament? Is there a bounty on your head? Yes, there is. There is a bounty on my head. The steps are very easy, Wheels. He wants to play for the first time. He's free on a Wednesday night. You go to coolbet.com. You download their poker software. You install it. You sign in with your Coolbet account. Then there's a tournaments tab. You click the tournaments tab, you search Lock Shop, and you click register. It's like a 4 or 5 step process, but they're all just single clicks. And You can register now. It's open. You can register tomorrow night right before the tournament begins. But we'll get rolling 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I look forward to streaming it once again, hopefully making a deep run myself. Definitely lasting longer than I did in the Costa Rica qualifier, which was 8 minutes. So if I go out the first 8 minutes tomorrow night, that'll suck.
I'll throw the step-by-step on the Twitter again today, the usual one.
Yeah, good idea. Do that. I'll retweet that.
Dusty will retweet that. So yeah, if you're looking to get in, it's available now over in the poker software. If you're having trouble with the download, it'll download fine on desktop. I think people have had issue with the phone download in the past. If you're going on mobile, I'd say just play in browser. That's probably the easiest way to go about it. So if you go to poker,
and I didn't even know you could play on your phone. This is new to me. I always play on my laptop. So.
Yeah, so you can download Coolbet Poker. Good for, like I said, good for desktop, no problem, laptop. Or the play in browser button is also an option. It'll pull up a separate poker tab, and you can do the exact same thing like Dusty mentioned. You click on tournaments, you click on the filter button. You don't even have to type lock shop. I actually just type lock into this one. As long as your status is set for registering, just type in lock. It's the only one there, the Lock Shop Poker Series. You'll see it starts tomorrow. I got 10 p.m. Eastern here, so 8 p.m. Mountain for that. I believe you'll have a bounty on your head as usual. And I think this time around it's going to be Tommy. I'm just trying to remember who was in. Tommy, Matty Iwanek. I think as long as Remo's playing, he's going to have a bounty as well. So those will be the bounties. We'll see who else will play from the EST crew. And we'll see I'm sure all the DGens, all the nasty chatters will be in there tomorrow. And as usual, I know it'll start to fill up about an hour out from the tournament, 30 minutes out. And looking forward to watching the stream, seeing if we can get some funny content out of that.
Should be a good time. That's going to do it for the Lock Shop today. Watch for that parlay. It'll be up in the combo cards at the top at coolbet.com. Tomorrow is poker day. Pat will join me tomorrow. We'll be diving into some hockey. We'll see if Dusty's undies hit. Hopefully it does, and then my theory is true, and we can continue to hammer that. And then we'll obviously be setting up a lot of golf with Pat tomorrow as well. 2 guys in the goalie coming up here right away. We'll dive into this Andy Strickland thing about Rantanen. We'll get into that on 2 guys and a goalie today. For Jake, I am Dusty. Thank you very much for joining us in Lock Shop today. Best of luck tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.